So today's a really fun video. We're going to talk about recent oil painting tips, kind of like interesting and unique ones that have really been helping me recently, and tips that I think will help you as well. So let's get into it. So the first oil painting tip that has really been helping me lately is to, instead of doing an underpainting, I have been blocking out the main 6 or 7 shapes and colors beforehand. So instead of doing a whole underpainting in burnt sienna, which is great, I still love doing that. Something I've been doing is I'll kind of map out, I'll look at my picture and I'll say there's a pink flower, green grass, a brown fence. So I will just paint a brown square for the fence, a green circle for the grass, a pink circle for the flower, and I'll kind of just map out and draw out my shapes and add a flat color. I like this sometimes if I have a lot of light colors and I don't want the underpainting in burnt sienna to muddy up my colors if I'm just painting it all in one sitting. Because sometimes the brown is just too brown and I just want to keep my bright light colors. So that is one thing I've been liking recently. Every painting is different, but it's nice to kind of have that as an option sometimes. Another oil painting tip that I have been really loving recently is I know this sounds obvious, but don't use pure white. Add colors to your white. I feel like this is something we all know and I used to do, but I just kind of forgot along the way and I've just been using white as a highlight. No, I need to add a little bit of blue or a little bit of pink or a little bit of yellow and really add a touch of cool or warm to your white to really elevate it and just enhance your painting. Another oil painting tip that I've been loving recently is switching to animal hair brushes. For a long time, I was really into synthetic brushes, and I think it's because I thought that they blended better or something because they're so soft, and I just liked how soft they were. And I didn't really know that I was robbing myself of those juicy brush strokes that you get with animal hair brushes because they're just thick and wiry and they really pick up a lot of paint. So I kind of just learned this because I have both types of brushes, but I would always reach for the synthetic, and I started kind of reaching for the animal hair more, and I would notice the amazing brush work that you would see in my paintings, visibly, and I like that painterly look. If you are missing that painterly impressionism texture in your paintings, then definitely check and see if you have more natural or animal hair brushes instead of the synthetic. Another oil painting tip that I have been really loving recently is carving out details with the background instead of the actual shape. So what I mean is that think if you have a flower and you need to add petal details to the flower, instead of just painting all the, details of the petal edges yourself, you could actually carve those shapes out with the background color. I kind of learned this because for my day job, I actually work for an artist and she does this in her beautiful paintings. And I thought that was a really cool technique. So I've been trying it recently and I wanted to share it with you as well. Another oil painting tip that I have been really loving recently, which again is so obvious, and I used to do it more often and I just kind of forgot along the way, is using the opposite color to dull a color instead of burnt sienna. So I don't know where I got this bad habit, but recently I developed a habit of just reaching for burnt sienna anytime I needed to dull a color. So if I have a blue and I need a more earthy toned blue, instead of dulling it with an orange, which is what you're supposed to do, I would always dull it with burnt sienna to make it more earthy or less bright looking. It can work sometimes for sure. I love burnt sienna, but I think it is better to do the opposite color because you're going to get more natural or realistic hues and they're not just going to be muddied up by the brown. If that's something you struggle with, you have too bright of colors and you need more neutrals or dull colors, make sure you're not just dulling with black or brown or white. Definitely try grabbing the opposite color and making sure there's similar temperatures. So again, if you have a blue and you need to dull it with an orange, make sure that there's similar coolness, if that makes sense, or warmness. When you are doing this, look up commonly used ratios online. Another oil painting tip that I've been loving recently is to stand up while I paint. I don't know why, but standing up while I paint just allows me to be so much more loose and have a lot more fun and end up liking the painting more because I'm so loose and like physical with the painting. So when I'm sitting down, I feel like I'm just too close to the actual painting and I can't like see the painting. I can't step back easily. I have to like get up, you know. When you're standing up, you can just move back and forth to really get that perspective and see what your painting needs. See if it has too much of this or the composition is off, the layout is wrong, the values are incorrect. That's hard to see when you're so like right up front and you get so like tight with the painting. So if you're also like painting too tight or just getting frustrated with all the little details and perfectionism, definitely try standing up. Another oil painting tip that I've been really liking lately, again, very obvious, but something I just forgot along the way. I swear, like you go, to art school and in classes and things, and then you just forget everything you learned. But this tip is to use a rag or paper towel to wipe out areas of your painting that you don't like or that you want to paint over. Especially if you need like a light color and you have like a dark area, don't just put the color on top. Make sure you wipe it off, with a paper towel or towel and then paint over it with the light value. It's gonna be a lot more clean looking. And also if you're not happy with an area, just wipe it or scrape it before you go paint with a new layer. Instead of just painting like wet on top and it gets really muddy and messy, always have like a towel in your hand where you can be wiping out areas that you're not liking or that you just want to like clean up or, soften, things like that. I feel like a towel goes a really long way. The next oil painting tip that I've been liking recently is to edit my scene and take out unimportant details. So when you're looking at your photo to paint, you don't have to paint everything in the photo. I know it's a crazy concept, but you can actually be the artist and be the editor and take out whatever you want. Isn't that amazing? Yes, I think we all forget that sometimes, but you can. And I think it's really important to see like what is unnecessary. If you have a table and there's like things on the table or a wall or something that you don't like, you don't have to put that in your painting. So lately, I've just been really experimenting more with what can I edit? What can I simplify to make this the most interesting painting? Should I take something out? Should I elongate a table? Just small things where I can kind of be the architect and I can decide like what's important and what's not. Another oil painting tip that has been so helpful for me recently is to find a focal point in your painting. If you have like a field of flowers or you have a still life or you have a landscape even, find something in your painting that can be sort of the major event where your eye is going to go. When you decide on a focal point in a painting, it really frees you up to focus on getting that one event right and not worrying so much about the rest of the painting being perfect. It just allows you to really have a star and it just gives you like an order of priorities. And that way you can, make sure to get that one area right first, and then you have your big win, and then the rest of the painting will feel a lot easier and a lot more simple. Those are the tips. I hope they were helpful. I would love to hear your thoughts. Did you like these tips? Did you learn anything new? What are some tips that you've been loving recently as an oil painter or as a painter, as an artist? Please tell me. I really want to know so I can learn as well. Thanks so much for being here. Please make sure to like and subscribe so I can grow that community. You know how it is. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok and check out my paintings below if you're interested. And also I have links to lots of different art supplies if you're looking for anything. They're all in my description. Thanks so much for being here. I hope you have a great day and go get painting, go paint today. 30 minutes, set a timer, just do something. I know you've been telling yourself you're going to do it every day and you don't. I'm the same way. Let's do it today. Okay, have a great day. Bye.